and gentlemen, please welcome actor and youth icon Ayushmann Khurrana to discuss cinema for New India. May I also call upon TV9's Krishna Kumar to conduct this session.
Right, talking about star-studded panels, we've had some of the biggest ministers grace this stage, and now we have an actor par excellence. I wrote that AV for you, Ayushmann, by the way. It was very easy to do that because it's incredible your work in the last, 11 years to 12 years? 2012 was Vicky Donor. You started off as a theatre artist in Chandigarh, 5 years of theatre roughly, and then TV happened. And then movies happen. You know, in corporate terminology, it's called steady career progression. You know, when you look back at your journey, and today you are here, you've just won the Time Magazine's Time 100 Impact Award. You know, you're somebody who's taken Bollywood globally as a personality recognized globally. From the streets of Chandigarh to now, when Ayushmann Khurrana looks back at his own journey, what does he think?
Very gratifying. I think the journey has been really gratifying, and the universe has been really kind to me. I've met amazing people in this journey. Started as a radio presenter, television anchor, from taking interviews to giving interviews, knowing actors as a journalist, and then giving interviews. I think it's quite surreal. Nobody knows that I said no to 6 films before signing up with Vicky Donor, because I always thought that being an outsider, I will never get a second chance. तो पहली बॉल पर 6 मारना ज़रूरी था, otherwise मेरा ऑप्शन नहीं था कोई. So yeah, as I said, universe has been really kind to me. Hard work सभी करते हैं, but yeah, I've met great people in this journey.
Humility, of course, why not? After all the success. But okay, the reason why I'm asking you this is that you're talking about refusing 6 films before Vicky Donor happened. From Vicky Donor to now, you've done films where the story is the star. In an industry that is obsessed with larger-than-life stardom and personalities, you chose every single time. I mean, I've been a fan of everything from Vicky Donor to Badhai Ho, to Andhadhun, for which you won the national award. The story is the star, consistently, not once, not just the first time. What was it like doing that, being part of Bollywood?
You know, my father, my late father, he once told me, if you're on a superstar, you should go for a superscript. So I always chose scripts which were real, authentic, clutter-breaking, novel. They ushered some kind of social change or a social conversation. And it happened over the years. I started with Vicky Donor, then Dam Laga Ke Ish, or Badhai Ho, or Shubh Mangal Savdhan, Zyada Savdhan, Andhadhun, Article 15.
Every single one. You can count every single one of your movies.
But again, I've always never believed in this ecosystem or the hierarchy which has been made, the star-driven industry. Of course, it is. But having said that, I think this super scripts or maybe these kind of novel ideas, they've ushered me to stardom. And I'm proud of all the collaborators with me, which joined me. And yeah, in future also, I'll keep on doing roles which are relatable, and I like to play this ordinary man in an extraordinary situation. So that's been a common thread in my films. So I love doing that.
It's a bit meta, isn't it? You are an ordinary man in an extraordinary situation today in real life, and then you play an ordinary man in an extraordinary situation in your movies as well. Talking about scripts and movies, do you think that India at this stage, we can have stars like Ayushmann Khurrana, who is going to turn around and say, it doesn't have to be about me. This movie doesn't have to be about me. For example, Badhai Ho. You're technically the so-called male protagonist in the movie. The movie was about so many things apart from you. You can do that in India right now because that's where Indian filmmaking has reached. The audiences have matured like that. And that's the kind of cinema from India that's doing well outside of India, that's making the world sit up and take notice of Indian cinema, like Andhadhun, for which you win the national award for performing in that. Do you think we are at the right stage to take Indian cinema to the world in terms of scripts, performances, and production values?
Everybody is looking at India right now. It's the best time to be an artist. It's best time to be an Indian. So I think we are living in a great era. And I'm proud of the fact that we have like a Natu Natu or Elephant Whisperers who won like global validation. And it's a proud moment for us. The more rooted we go, we should actually explore more rooted stories, and that's how we reach globally. They are, for them, I think it's very intriguing to know about India. We have a vast country, we have our own complexities, we have crazy amount of languages, religions, regions, and I think more we explore on the celluloid or through art, I think it'll be incredible, and we are reaching globally, and I think it's a great feat.
It's beautiful that, Punjab da Puttar here is talking about so many languages, referring to South Indian movies as well. I always used to say, you are the Hindi version of Vijay Sethupathi. That's my favorite way of giving you a compliment. That's the kind of movies you've done, the kind of work you've done. I'm sure you yourself mutually are friends and fans of each other as well.
We have transcended boundaries in terms of cultures and languages. Back in the day, when Kannada cinema was not doing this, suddenly Kantara happened. And, things have changed dramatically. Even Andhadhun performed really well in China. It is beyond that barrier of language and culture, and art is a true unifier in our country right now.
Absolutely. You brought Pani Da Rang to the national audience. Somebody from Chennai, Madras like me sang Pani Da Rang when it came out. We'll get to that later. We'll talk about your singing later. Talking about going global, talk to us about what happened when you were told that you were part of the Time Magazine's 100 Impact List. And that was not just for your disruptive cinema with social messaging, something that creates social conversations we're talking about, but also your exemplary work as a child rights protection ambassador for UNICEF.
Time happened twice in these last 3 years. I never aspired for that validation. I was just doing my job. I've said that repeatedly that if your core is pure, if you want to probably work through your craft and send a social message, not with certain agenda in mind, the acknowledgements are later. They are just byproducts of whatever you do. And wholeheartedly, I have chosen stories which are unique, novel, and clutter-breaking, and they usher a certain social change, as I said earlier. So I guess it's really worked like that. My father has blessed me, I think, that I got that validation twice in these last 3 years. And there was no in desperation to get global validation. I think we're just doing our jobs as an artist, and that's that.
I'm asking that primarily the reason, right? So you're already doing social work with your cinema, if I may put it that way. you do social work with your cinema, and then you do actual social work as well. Correct?
Yeah, UNICEF ambassador, again, we are opinion leaders. Cricket and cinema, they're two biggest entities in the country. And if you are a name in that realm, so I guess you have that social responsibility on your shoulders. And being part of UNICEF, I've gotten to know India better. It comes through my street theater personality, where I've gone from to big cities to smaller cities during my college days with my theater group, traveling in sleeper trains, and knowing India really well. I think it has worked because I have experienced this during my college days as well. So being rooted is the only thing. And if you know your country well, you can usher something through your art.
Sleeper trains to private charter flights, huh, Ayushmann? Sleeper trains to private charter flights, huge
Quite
journey.
surreal. I think I'm living in a la-la land right now.
Okay, talking about cinema, and we'll just hold the conversation on cinema for a bit. I did talk about Pani Da Rang. You're somebody who's captured hearts in this country with your singing alongside your acting, because it began together. When the country woke up to the fact that there was Ayushmann Khurrana with Vicky Donor, it woke up and sang Pani Da. Is that?
Rumanul.
If you can continue, give us a little bit for Pani Da Rang. It's been 12 years of Pani Da Rang.
Listen, the thing is,
What's it? Pani Da Rang from Ayushmann. We have Ricky Cage in the audience, a Grammy winner, saying, yeah. Please, Pani Da Rang for us.
Mahiyana aaya mera, mahiyana aaya. Mahiyana aaya mera, mahiyana aaya. Ranjana aaya mera, mahiyana aaya. Mahiyana aaya mera, ranjana aaya. Akhaan da noor vekh ke, akhiyan cho hanjur udde.
Wow. Guys, still feels like that. That's like digital recording, live performance quality. I'm asking about live performance because of late, you've been on a rage performing live. Your live performances are rage. You've been talking about how you want to continue your singing and live performances. And live performances have a social media tinge to it. You use the latest trends like Moe Moe or any latest social media trend. That's the reason why you're connecting with your audience. What is it like after all the accolades for acting behind camera, the edited versions, to now going back to live performances with singing and connecting with audiences?
As a theatre actor, I've done a lot of musicals in school and college, so I think it's just an extension of my theatre personality.
Yeah, but you let it go for a bit in between.
I did, because I was filming at least three films a year, so I'm a very bad multitasker. So it's just that I'll be concentrating more on music this time as well, in 2024. That's the plan, that I'll be singing more, writing more, composing more. Though I started as an actor-singer, got 2 Filmfare Awards as the best debut and also the best singer, which is again quite an aberration for an actor. But yes, I'll be doing music seriously now this year around.
Is it again a continuous process of evolution, Ayushmann? Because that's what's happening with Indian cinema as well. We've been making great cinema for a very long time, but we're evolving and evolving and evolving like that to the point where Natu Natu is being performed on Oscar stage. You have Elephant Whisperers getting Oscars. Ricky Cage going every year to Grammys and saying, hey, one Grammy this side once. Year after year is there. So, in that sense, this is Ayushmann still evolving. Ayushmann is not a finished product now.
I've always have a learning license with me. I'm a learner. I'm a very bad teacher, though. I'm always a student. And I can put this very selfishly, that acting is all about learning, knowing people, having experiences, and ever evolving, just like you, me, and everyone else. I think if we know that हमें सब कुछ आता है, तो I think that will be the last day.
Would you be trying your hand at anything apart from Hindi cinema, if I were to ask you that?
I'm good with Indian languages, so I would love to do regional cinema as well, since I think there is no cultural boundary, as I said, with the language as well. Would like to explore Malayalam cinema as well, because I'm a huge Fahad Fazil fan. The kind of cinema that he does.
So am I.
Yeah. So I would love to explore regional cinema.
Ayushmann Khurrana hopefully we see him in southern cinema, Malayalam or Tamil, hopefully. Again, for all those watching this conversation, news emerging, and Ayushmann is going to be performing a lot going forward as well. Is there any destination that you were working with in your mind? For example, that boy in Chandigarh who was doing theatre, traveling in sleeper trains, came to Bombay. There was TV happening, and you were in the thick of things, and then movies happened. Was there a destination in your mind in terms of where you want to go?
Not really. I don't want to sound very philosophical, but life is a journey. I take one day at a time, one interview at a time. I just live in the moment.
One question at a time.
One question at a time, one song at a time, one film at a time. So it's all about that. There's no 5-year plan, and plans keep on changing. Since pandemic happened, there were different conspiracy theories floating around. This kind of films will work, only big budget films will work, and only sequels will work. And we were going through a plunge that time in Indian cinema. But 2023 has been the biggest year of Hindi cinema commercially, where every kind of film has worked, from a big ticket film like Animal or a Jawan, mid-budget films like Gadar 2, Oh My God 2, or mine, Dream Girl 2. Also 12th Fail, a small film. So I think we are back. And that's a great comeback made by Hindi cinema, Indian cinema.
Okay, I should have asked you this before. Talk about going regional, and you would agree that now regional is global right now. But what about actually going global? What about Ayushmann Khurrana going to LA and making a movie?
It has to be the right representation. Should not be just tokenism of just a brown guy, acting.
Not really all that brown. Actually, I look more brown than you between the two of us.
Okay. But brown is brown. Indians are Indians. So I guess it's not be just a tokenism, as I said. There has to be a story around it. And if you can make our own stories, we don't have to go westwards. If they are coming eastwards and looking at India as the fulcrum of global cinema, so I think we don't need to go there. They need to come here.
So, that being the case, I want to ask you, yes, you're going to be busy performing a lot. I feel that with you. But you are going to be making movies as well. Hopefully, right? Not too many, but are you going to be targeting those projects that are meant for Indian films, Indian projects, meant for a global audience? Do you consciously do that? Or are you planning to do that to be part of cinema, to make cinema that is not meant for Indians or Indians living abroad, but meant for people across the world, meant to eventually be nominated in the regular category of Oscars, not in the foreign language film category of Oscars. And that's what I'm talking about, making global cinema right here in India. What is Ayushmann Khurrana's plans on that?
You know, during Time magazine felicitation in Singapore, I mentioned that we need to go just introspect, look inside, look in India for stories, be more rooted, and the more rooted you go, the global you'll touch and reach. And that's what we've been doing. We don't have to look at them as a target audience. We just have to look at our society in general. As I said, ordinary men in extraordinary situations. It's plain and simple. And whatever resonates with your heart and core, and whatever is relatable to Indian diaspora, I think that'll touch everywhere. Like, there are a lot of traditional cultures like India, like Mexican culture is very Indian, Japanese culture, they're very rooted. So I think it'll touch anywhere, like everywhere. Anyway, what's the name of the film? All at Once. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah. So I think that touched everyone. It was so rooted about relationships, about various aspects of life, parallel worlds, universes. I think it really doesn't matter if you're thinking about.
I'm asking because, like, you need sometimes a project that's mounted on a particular scale, or has the kind of legs to be taken to international film festivals and being shown to people, so that it runs and it flies across the world. For example, you had a Gully Boy, which got premiered in the right places, which went to Venice and went to everywhere. So in that sense, when Ayushmann Khurrana is greenlighting a project, saying that, okay, I'm going to be putting my hard-earned time into this movie, are you looking at that kind of cinema where, like, okay, this is the kind of film that we're going to make it, we're going to take it, and we're going to promote it across the world? That was my intention of asking.
I think Article 15 was one of those kind of films which could have been in festivals and could have touched globally, because it's something which is very unique to our system, and we're not
as
super
unique
proud
as
of
possible.
That. Yeah. So that's one film. Andhadhun was another one. Dam Laga Ke Haisha. These three films still had that festival vibe, but if we are talking about the song and dance commercial cinema, that's not festival worthy. So they has a certain grammar of cinema when it comes to festivals. So I think it really depends. In future also, I don't have those kind of films, but it's certainly a cross between commercial and critical cinema, which I've always been part of.
I have a very selfish reason for asking this question. You've done everything. You've done that so-called middle-of-the-road cinema, which became the main road. Eventually, you won the national award. I just want you to win an international award for your acting, because, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together. What a phenomenal actor this man is.
Thank you,
Keep saying I keep playing the everyday man, the regular guy, but it takes some effort. I'm telling you about, there are, it's not just Ayushmann. He's talking about the regional cinema. There's somebody like Mr. Vijay Sethupathi, Mr. Ayushmann Khurrana, all these people who say, oh, we're just playing regular people, but they're doing such phenomenal performances. I'm asking this only because hopefully future, one of these films earn you that Oscar or that recognition globally for you as an actor. But I'm afraid, Ayushmann, we've completely run out of time here on this conversation. I'm wishing you the very best with your what do you call, performances, and your acting and your movies, and global recognition is just a single twitch away.
Thank you so much, Krishna. Thank you so much.